All right, let's get right into it. If you're even thinking about building an AI startup right now, you need to know that the old rules are completely out the window. And this isn't just some high-level theory, this is a concrete playbook for 2026. It's built from the hard-won lessons of Young, the CEO of OpusClip, one of the fastest-growing AI companies on the entire planet.
Think about it. Just a couple of years ago, you could launch a pretty simple ChatGPT for X idea and boom, it could go viral. It felt like you were standing on solid ground, but today, oh man, it is a whole different ballgame. The foundation models are getting insanely good, the big guys are bundling features left and right, and the market is just saturated. The gold rush is officially over.
So why should we be listening to Young? I mean, what's his story? Well, for starters, his company, OpusClip, which turns long videos into viral short clips, has absolutely skyrocketed to over 15 million users, and they did it in just 2.5 years.
And it's not just users for the sake of users. All of that growth is translated into a staggering $215 million valuation. So yeah, this isn't advice from the sidelines. This is a playbook that's been forged in the fire of hypergrowth. So let's get into his first big idea. This is the first and maybe most important point. The ground has completely shifted under our feet, but most founders, they're still playing by the old rules. To win now, you can't just react to what's happening. You have to be predictive.
And this quote just nails it. Being AGI-pilled. What does that even mean? It means you have to start thinking like the big research labs. Look, if a core model can do a job at, say, 80% quality today, you have to work with the assumption that they're going to hit 99% in their very next release. And if your entire business is built in that little 19% gap, you are building on borrowed time, my friend.
So before we even get into the nuts and bolts of strategy or tactics, Young argues that the most important thing is the founder's internal operating system. It really all starts with how you think about what you're even building in the first place.
Now this is a fantastic distinction. On one hand, you have the cool demo. It looks like magic, right? It gets all the wows and the "this is amazing" feedback, but nobody ever pulls out a credit card. A real business, on the other hand, it solves a painful, tedious, annoying job. The kind of job that people are already trying to solve with messy spreadsheets or by hiring freelancers. The first question they ask isn't, wow, how does it work? It's, how much does it cost? I need this now.
And this totally reframes a core idea for founders: passion. The common mistake is thinking you need to be passionate about, I don't know, video clipping. But the reality? Your passion needs to be for the act of building and solving problems itself. That emotional drive is what gets you through the absolute fatigue of it all. You then take that drive and apply it with cold, hard, rational conviction to a real, painful problem that you've come to deeply understand. Okay, mindset? Check. Philosophy? Check. Now for the really good stuff. Let's look at how this all builds into an actionable 30-day playbook. This is about finding that elusive product-market fit before you waste months and months building the wrong thing.
You know, the story of OpusClip itself is the perfect example here. They started out building this big, full-featured live streaming tool that, well, nobody really liked. They were exhausted after a year of trying things with zero signal. But one tiny feature, clipping, it showed these little signs of life. And they had the courage to abandon everything else, combine that one feature with the newly released ChatGPT, and pivot. The rest is history.
And this is how they actually did it. First, they didn't build a product at all. They manually used AI to edit videos and then just emailed the final clips, the outcomes, to potential customers. And they got over 60% positive feedback. Second, they built the simplest interface imaginable, a Discord bot. No UI code, just pure value delivery. And third, they listened for really specific signals, not just praise, but people complaining that the queue was too long or that they'd hit their daily usage quota. That's when they knew they had something real. So here's the timeline you can actually use. Spend the first 2, maybe 3 weeks deep in user research. Don't touch any technology, just listen. Then, take just a few days to engineer a proof of concept. For the rest of that first month, you go back to those same users and you validate the value. You ask them 2 critical questions. Number 1, what problem is this really solving for you? And number 2, seriously, how much would you pay for this? All right, so you've found a problem, you have a plan, you're fired up. But wait, now you have to navigate the strategic landscape, which, believe me, is filled with traps that can kill your startup before it ever gets off the ground.
And these are the 2 biggest danger zones you have to watch out for. Trap number 1 is building a feature right in an incumbent's shadow. Think about building a note taker for Google Meet. It's a great idea, until Google builds it themselves and cuts you off at the knees.
Trap 2 is the fragile wrapper, just building a thin layer of prompts over a model's core skill, like summarization. The very next model update could make your entire product obsolete. Poof!
So what's the way out? What's the strategic alternative? Instead of building a fragile little feature, you need to build a fortress. And the key, as it says here, is to own the entire workflow from end to end. Don't just build the AI part. Build the whole solution to a business problem, where AI is just one incredibly powerful gear in a much bigger machine.
And here is a brilliant 3-part filter you can run any idea through. First, the niche test. Segment your market down, and then down again until it feels impossibly small. Second, the boring test. Trust me, all the cool, sexy ideas are hyper-competitive. The boring industries are where the real, painful problems are hiding. And third, the service test. Look for markets where people are already paying agencies or freelancers a lot of money to get a job done. That is your golden opportunity.
Which brings us to this fantastic closing analogy that just ties everything together perfectly. 100 years ago, owning a car was a massive advantage. But today, almost everyone can drive. AI is the exact same thing. It gives every founder, every creator a car. It removes all that tedious, manual work like editing and just dissolves the old barriers to entry. So what does that actually mean for you? Well, the takeaway here is profound. 10 years ago, your competitive advantage might have been your sheer willingness to spend 6 grueling hours editing a single video. That advantage? It's gone. The game is no longer about who is willing to do the most dirty work.
So if that's not your job anymore, what is? Your new job is to be the F1 driver. See, everyone has a car, but very, very few people are elite drivers. Your time must now be spent entirely on the things the AI can't do. High-level strategy, finding your unique voice, crafting a compelling story. The work, surprisingly, becomes more human, not less.
And that leaves us with the final question to really think about. In a world where AI has given everyone the tools to compete, it's no longer about having the best engine. It's about the race you choose to enter and the skill with which you drive. So what race will you win?